Good evening and welcome to UTV Live. A man has died after a two-vehicle collision in Conlig in County Down. The crash, which involved a taxi and motorcycle, happened on the Bangor Road at around 1:30 this morning. The man was taken to hospital where he died shortly after. The First Minister has said significant gaps remain in reaching an agreement with the EU over the Northern Ireland Protocol. Paul Givan said the issue of medicine supply needs to be addressed, as well as drugs for veterinary use. It's after the EU's chief Brexit negotiator, Mar Sefcovic, welcomed what he called a change of tone after a meeting with Lord Frost this week. Remembrance Sunday commemorations have taken place across towns and cities in Northern Ireland. The First Minister paid his respects in Belfast, while the Taoiseach followed tradition by laying a wreath in Enniskillen. Hundreds gathered to pay their respects in Belfast. The city's act of remembrance, led by its Lord Mayor, Kate Nicholl, joined this year by the First Minister, Paul Givan. The last post played out for all those who had come to remember. Among those in the crowd, members of the SDLP. A 2-minute silence fell across the Garden of Remembrance. A pause to commemorate the men and women who served in the world wars, as well as more recent conflicts.
I have members of my own family that have served in the security forces, the army, and suffered injury. Whenever I'm paying respects on behalf of the people of Northern Ireland, I'm also remembering personally those within my own family who suffered as a result of their service.
I had a grandfather who fought in World War II, like so many, and I think what this day allows us to remember all who've lost their lives during wars, and to keep that memory alive and to learn from it, you know.
In Enniskillen, the Taoiseach Micheál Martin laid a wreath in remembrance. A tradition started by former Irish Premier Enda Kenny in 2012. This, the 34th anniversary of an IRA bomb attack which killed 12 people and injured 60 more. Remembrance services took place in cities and towns across the country. And while the numbers may have been restricted due to COVID, those who paid the ultimate sacrifice were not forgotten. As COP26 comes to a close in Glasgow, the Prime Minister has hailed the final agreement as game-changing. However, activists here say the watered-down language for coal promises is a betrayal. Jim O'Hagan reports.
I'm deeply sorry. I also understand the deep disappointment. But I think, as you have noted, it's also vital that we protect this package.
An emotional COP26 president admits the shortcomings of the climate conference. Disappointment shared by 2 Northern Irish climate activists who attended.
Proposing this last-minute adjustment of the language from phasing out of coal to phasing down really sums up what happened at COP26 and the lack of commitment and meaningful action that they were talking about. But all the same, I'm still hopeful. And that hope isn't coming from the speeches from the governments or politicians. It's coming from the people, the young people, the old people, the activists, the scientists, and that is what I'm holding on to.
I feel very betrayed, and I think the world has been betrayed on 3 things in particular. 1, they're not providing any finance for the developing world to transition. They're just refusing. 2, they're saying to people who are staring down the barrel of climate change right now, you are on your own. They're not going to provide any support. And then 3, worst of all, they're actually blaming those who are the least responsible.
Where world leaders repeat messages of progress and hope, climate activists say it's too late for hope. For them, COP26 was a vehicle for the world's wealthiest nations and biggest polluters to cop out. Jim O'Hagan, UTV Live.
The weather's next. Here's Matt Sterling.
It's cold out there, but there's a heatwave on the way. UTV Weather, sponsored by Phoenix Natural Gas.
Rain moving in for this evening and overnight, but turning drier and brighter through tomorrow, feeling a little cooler than it has done of late. Taking a look at the bigger picture over the coming few days, and it remains fairly changeable across the northern half of the UK. Weather systems moving in from the Atlantic will bring stronger winds and the risk of some rain from time to time, but there will be some drier interludes too. Through this evening, a band of rain will move into western parts of the province. Overnight, this will move eastwards, perhaps turning heavy at times. Temperatures holding up under the cloud in the east, but chilly in the west with fog forming. Gradually brightening up from the west through tomorrow, dry for many with plenty of sunny spells developing. Turning breezy along the north coast later in the day, feeling a little cooler with highs of 12 degrees Celsius. Staying rather cloudy and breezy over the coming days, with perhaps a little rain at times.
Home means more snuggling up and keeping warm. UTV weather, sponsored by Phoenix Natural Gas.
That is the very latest. Nathan Hanna will have your next local bulletin just after 6 tomorrow on Good Morning Britain. Until then, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.